Who's ready to fight the Ender Dragon? What's going on, guys? CWG here. Welcome to another Nomifactory episode. In the previous episode, we set up like 1 kajillion distillation towers in order to distill this tasty oil. And in between episodes, I've been doing more chemistry because I'm like, we've done so much chemistry last episode. I'm not going to bore you guys with it again. Well, probably. Oh, our system's out of power. That's not ideal. Oh, we need to refill our drum with high-octane gasoline. I have to do this like once every few hours. It'll finally go through the drum. We should be able to slap it back and everything's good. Oh yeah, I added way more combustion gas generators. Look how much power we're producing now. But it's extremely loud. And I heard someone say that if you whack it with a hard hammer, it muffles it. I completely forgot this was a mechanic in Nomifactory, so shout out to the guy in the comments. Oh, that is way better. All right, so let me show you the chemistry stuffs and things I've been doing off camera. Last episode, we set up an epic chlorohydrin production facility. It just uses propane, hypochlorous acid, chlorine, blah, 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 makes the thing. We can then use this epichlorohydrin to make epoxy resin, and that is like our main goal. So I set up another large chemical reactor. Boom, we already have 2,000 buckets of epoxy resin. You'll love to see it. The current bottleneck for epoxy is phenol, and phenol is being made over here from wood tar. Yeah, we're just constantly using it all. There is another way to get phenol, but I'll worry about setting that up later. Now, I set up 2 more large chemical reactors here. We got one guy making ammonia. It combines methane, nitrogen, and oxygen, which we have a ton of, to make unlimited ammonia. I mean, we already have 3,800 buckets. You'll love to see it. The ammonia is then being used to turn into 1,1-dimethylhydrazine. Yeah. This is made by combining the ammonia with methanol and more of that acid, which we got tons of. We're then taking this 1,1-dimethylhydrazine, putting it in a mixer with dinitrogen tetroxide, which is being made over this guy, which is just ammonia and oxygen, which is why we're making so much ammonia. See, it's all making sense now. And then we mix the two together and we get the most efficient recipe for rocket fuel. There's actually 2 recipes, one that uses oxygen and one that uses the dinitrogen tetroxide, but that gives you like way more yield. We've already filled up a full super tank of rocket fuel. And this rocket fuel is like the fuel that we're going to be using for our microverse projections to get us ores. We'll get into that stuff later, but just know that we got a full super tank of this stuff now. I've been doing some other random things around the base, like taking marble, crushing it into marble dust, which then gets centrifuged to make us magnesium and calcite dust. So that's kind of cool. Oh, check out this guy I set up. In the back here is a gas collector that collects the air. This guy then freezes the air into liquid air. Ooh. Now, why do we need liquid air? Let's come over here. There's a distillation tower over here that needs high voltage. It takes 100 seconds, but it will distill the liquid air into these things. We're getting argon, which is a noble gas. I believe it makes up 1% of our atmosphere. We're getting helium, carbon dioxide, a ton of oxygen, and a metric butt ton of nitrogen. I mainly did the setup because we were running low on nitrogen because we need nitrogen for things like ammonia. Lots of nitrogen, actually. So distilling liquid air is honestly like the best way to get copious amounts of nitrogen. And that's what we're doing. We're also getting crushed ice. Not really sure what you're supposed to do with this. I guess you can make ice out of it. It's kind of neat. Oh, and this setup over here, this is for titanium processing. Yeah. If we go to our list of stuffs and things we have to do to automate circuits, automate epoxy, that's done. We're automating epoxy right over there. Automate titanium. That's what I've been working on. So the way we get titanium is by taking rutile dust that I have been getting through processing aluminum ore, actually. If you take aluminum ore, crush it, wash it in sodium persulfate, which we have like a super tank of, you get 70% chance of rutile dust, and that increases every tier you have above LV or whatever. And then all you have to do is mix the rutile dust with carbon and chlorine. I already have this set up over here. If we take out our screwdriver, you can see there's a robot arm pulling in rutile and carbon from the system. So all I have to do is toss all the rutile dust that I've been getting from processing into the system, and it will automatically process it. So it gets sent into this chemical reactor, mixed with chlorine and carbon to make titanium tetrachloride. Yeah, and then the titanium tetrachloride then goes down to our electric blast furnace. You can see I set one up here for titanium processing. You have to insert the titanium tetrachloride liquid into the side. You also have to insert manganese dust. Here's the recipe. Titanium tetrachloride manganese gives you hot titanium and the magnesium chloride, in which you can then electrolyze to get your chlorine and magnesium back. So you're not actually spending chlorine and magnesium. It does get recycled, but this is how we're getting our hot titanium. The hot titanium then gets cooled down in our vacuum freezer over here. And look, we already have 246 titanium. The only issue is it's not renewable. But I've been using some of the titanium we've been getting to make our very first extreme voltage machines. Check it out. This down here is an extreme voltage rock breaker, which is constantly printing us a black granite. The black granite is then being crushed. We're using another EV macerator. Why are we using EV? Because it gives you the best chance of byproducts. Look, we already have 13,000 thorium, and thorium is going to be used to make nuclear fuel later down the road. So it's a good thing we're starting to stockpile this stuff. 13.8 thousand thorium. You'll love to see it. But we're also getting black granite dust, which is being sent over here. The black granite dust goes to a centrifuge, in which we are getting biotite dust from. We are then electrolyzing the biotite to get that tasty fluorine. Yes, we finally have renewable fluorine thanks to the extreme voltage rock breaker. And then the fluorine then goes through this process and makes us PTFE. Look, we already have 438 buckets of PTFE. You'll love to see it. Also, we were starting to run low on oxygen, even with distilling the liquid air. So I made a setup here. It takes the glass, crushes it, centrifuges it into silicon dioxide, and then electrolyzes it to get oxygen. You can get oxygen really quickly this way, and we already have a full super tank. Oh yeah, I forgot about mini dubs. Here, come on back, mini dubs. Yeah, so to say that I've been busy would be a little bit of an understatement, but all this infrastructure should help us out for today's episode. So automate titanium, done. High voltage circuit assembler, come into the clean room, check it out. I've made the high voltage circuit assembler, and actually I don't think it was that hard to make. Yeah, it just required some chrome, which we have like a ton of now, Isovender, gold cable, some circuits. Yeah, I don't know why we haven't made one yet, but we have one now, so that's cool. High voltage circuit assembler, done. Automate fluorine, done. We've knocked both of those things out now, which means we're ready to make our first tier 5 circuits. But before we do that, I think we're gonna have to take care of our side quest here to get Radon. So our first goal was to up power production, and I think we've done that because we have like how many gas turbines now? Plus, I want to make the large combustion engine, but I don't know if we're gonna have enough titanium. Like that's gonna cost so much titanium to do. But there's also an ore that spawns inside of the end that can give us a lot more titanium. So I'm thinking we just go to the end now. So our first task is to use the quest book to make it to the end. How do we get to the end game? Oh, we have to make an end cake. Refill using Eyes of Ender. That's pretty neat. And I'm pretty sure we already have like everything we need to craft this end cake. Yep, we do. We just need some endstone dust, some black steel plates, which I made some black steel off camera. It's made with red coal. Oh, I guess I kind of forgot to show off this setup. Next to our pyrolyze oven is a super chest that can hold up to 8 million items. We already have 469,000 charcoal. I'm using 2 resonators from the extra utilities mod, and it is turning charcoal into red coal. And I believe in order to beat this pack, you need something like 8 million red coal. So might as well start up the production process now. The way these resonators get power is kind of interesting. Extra Utilities has its own like power system. It's called grid power. We go down here, there's some water mills from the Extra Utilities mod. It's crafted using stone burnt, some machine casing, some pumps. So it's all stuff we've had before using the resonator. And what this will do is generate grid power, in which you can see it kind of like ticking up towards the center of the screen just by having water flowing adjacent to it. So just know that Extra Utilities grid power is a thing, and there are certain machines that will need to use it. You honestly don't have to worry about it too much in this pack, or at least not yet. And as you can see, in order to make this black steel, you have to mix like red coal, steel dust, some void crystals, which is made by zapping coal using the atomic reconstructor. That's what this guy is, by the way. I don't know if I've ever showed this off, but you can like take a stack of coal, throw it at it, it'll turn it into a stack of void crystals. Really neat. So let us make our first end cake. Achievement get! I mean, I guess we'll put it next to our overworld cakes. And Stircat told me she wanted to take on the Ender Dragon with me. So she should be getting on soonish, I think. In the meantime, are we ready to take on the Ender Dragons ourselves? I mean, we got some reinforced jetpack and some dark steel boots. How do you make the dark steel gear? Oh, it's literally that simple? Yeah, let's make a set of dark gear armor. We should have plenty of dark steel. So we'll make ourselves some leggings and a helmet. And I'm pretty sure you have to like charge these guys. Maybe not. Oh no, there's an upgrade you have to make. Well, we can craft an empowered for dark steel upgrade here. Can we just like apply it to the helmet like so? Oh, the upgrades are like recursive, meaning you need the previous one in order to unlock the next one. Ah, well, I don't even know how to craft these ones. Maybe they're disabled. Oh, well, whatever. I'm sure we'll be fine fighting the Ender Dragon. How do we look? Oh yeah, we are ready. Kind of looks like we have a mustache with this on. What the heck? Also, what kind of bows can we make? Can we make a dark bow? That sounds cool. Oh no, we need the slice and splice machine. Ugh. We can make a lapis bow by using 3 lapis rods and 3 string. Interesting. Also, check this out. You guys remember how we set up these fissures to get us some like enchanted books? We did manage to get a power 4 book. So let's apply it to one of these lapis bows. Boop. We got power 4, baby. We just need some like infinity. But I think we should be good enough. We'll be fine. Do we look ready to take on this dragon? Do you like my little mustache?
Me too.
It just goes over your eyes. It's not the best designed helmet, I'll be honest. It may work for like other people's skins. All right, so we got lapis bows, sword, bottles to get the breathy juice. I mean, how hard could it be? We fought it how many times in the history of Minecraft? Let's go. The end, baby. We're in a hole.
We're in the hole.
All right, don't move.
I'm not moving.
Don't move a muscle. All right, there we go. I'm gonna dig to the surface, and there we go. Don't look at Enderman, by the way. Also, I have a jetpack, so.
Oh God.
This is gonna be.
This is a.
Where's the dragon? Good question. Oh, there he is.
There is
Hey, dragon. Guess what? I bet you didn't think that you'd be fought with someone with a jetpack that could just shoot off the crystals. Sorry, dragon.
The jetpack.
Stircat's gonna be our ground mission. Just got. Ow! Oh, an Enderman found me. What the heck? Go away. Ow! The dragon hit me! Oh, the dark steel armor is actually not bad. Oh! Oh, it exploded point blank on me. How did I not die? Oh, did you get that one? Come on, come on, come on. Don't explode. Oh, it did explode.
She's down. She's down.
She's perched. All right, last thing's exploded.
Ow!
Whoa! I see a lot of angry Endermen. Should I make a water pool of safety? I did bring 2 water buckets. See, I was prepared. Flood the end. Ow. Whoa, the dragon just deleted that water. It was like, nope. Yeah, it just deleted their water.
It took my water.
It took your water. Oh,
That's
more.
rude.
I need more breath. Give me the breath. Dragons attacking all the Endermen. I love the dragon fight. It's always like so
You
chill.
can't hit it with arrows?
Wait, really? Let me try it.
No!
Oh, not when he's perched, no. You have to solo him. Ow! You want a piece of me, dragon? Hope you know I know how to use a sword. Oh, he's off. This is truly a fight of all time. Ooh! More breath. I'm slicing! I'm slicing! She's down! Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Ooh, there's stuff that dropped. Give me that stuff. I got all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we totally beat the pack.
Yeah.
This isn't like the beginning of mid-game or anything. All right, let's see if we can get the egg. Oh, wait, did we get the...
What was that?
I got the heart. Yeah. I got the dragon heart. We're gonna need a lot of... Oh, I think the egg just
I think
went...
it's home.
Yeah, the egg just went to the overworld. Oops. Nah, let's start collecting there. What is this? I got a trophy. Look.
What is that?
Oh,
Oh.
it's a little dragon. Yeah.
It's a little jaw.
That's cool.
That's cute.
From the Armor Plus mod. You could have it. And I got Fragment of Midnight, which I have no idea what the heck this does. I don't like it. It's just a big like F.
Chat.
F's in the chat. Oh, I got our first piece of draconium dust too. So first things first, we need to suck the ender air. If we just put a gas collector, turbo combustion generator, use a wrenchy wrench, steel drum of high octane gasoline. We'll see if I remembered everything. fluid conduit. And then, yep. Insert it. Are we sucking gas? We're sucking gas
Woohoo!
with the power of high octane gasoline. And that should get us, yes, Ender air. All this work just for some Ender air. We're not done yet. Now we're gonna have to freeze it at IV, insane voltage. And then we're gonna have to distill it with another distillation tower. So in the meantime, you like mining, right?
Do you need endstone or obsidian?
No, not endstone. So inside of the end are 2 ores that spawn. Titanium and tungsten, which come in the form of ores. I think they're called scheelite and elementite. Let me look around. Oh wait, let me use my prospector. Ah, look at that. Okay, so I can see that there's tungstate to our south to get some tungsten. There's also scheelite to our south. Okay, so south is the way to go, which is this way. Oh,
There.
scheelite. Yes, this is how we're gonna get our tungsten. Let's go. And what's this? Tungstate. Yeah. Yeah, because if you look at the chemical formula, you see that W in the scheelite ore? That's tungsten. And what's the other one that we get? Tungstate? Oh yeah, that's just another source of tungsten, it looks like. Oh, and you can get manganese as a byproduct processing this. So me and Sturcat are gonna get to mine it. I'll be all back in the overworld. And we're back, and that was a fun adventure. We did everything we wanted to do in the end. Everything went smoothly. We are collecting, using an ender tank, ender air. Look, we already have 1,160,000 ender air. You'll love to see it. It's still going up. And of course, we need to then freeze the ender air using IV, insane voltage, and using insane voltage, we have to distill it. So we're gonna need a bunch of EV energy hatches. Oh. Which means we're gonna need even more things. For instance, we're gonna need an EV cutting saw. We're gonna need a glass lens of the browns variety. Luckily, I think we have everything we need to make some brown dye. All you gotta do is get some metal mixture, which comes from pulverizing stone dust, react it with some salt and sulfuric acid. We should then be able to take our chemical brown dye in an HV chemical bath and dye a sapphire lens. Or can you not dye the sapphire lenses? No, you cannot. You can only dye certain types of lenses, apparently. All right, guys, I think I figured it out. First, you take some glass, melt it down into glass, then you eject it into a solidifier to then turn the glass into glass panes. You then turn the glass panes through a 60-second process in the lathe to get a clear lens. But you know what they say, waiting builds character. And we got the lens, let's go. Let us wash the lens in brown dye and wait, okay, only 10 seconds, respectable. Thank you, HV Advanced Bath. And we get our brown dye, nice. I guess brown lens, not brown dye, but you guys know what I mean. Now we can go into our clean room here, swap out our lens to brown, grab some of our glowstone doped wafers. We have an absolute butt ton of this stuff. And we should be able to make PIC wafers, in which we need for our EV energy hatches. Makes sense, doesn't it? And you know what? We're so close to finishing off the last things we need in order to get Radon. I mean, we already did the hard part of pumping the ender air over here. We just have to make the energy hatches and the multi-blocks. So you know what that means. Time-lapse time. we're back, and that time lapse was a full day of mining, building multi-blocks, lots of microcrafting. Oh, but we finally done it. All this for one singular bucket of radon. Give me that. And of course, we need this radon in order to make the EV circuit assembler, like the whole goal this past few episodes. But before we get into that, as you guys saw from the time lapse, we made this large combustion engine. And this thing is awesome. As you saw from the time lapse, it is made by using tons of titanium. Like that needs a lot of titanium. That needs a lot of titanium. This needs a lot of titanium. It's just a lot of titanium. So it's a good thing we have it automated over there. We just have to keep the system fed with rutile dust. All we have to do is insert lubricant, high octane gasoline, and oxygen for the best results. Now, don't worry, this thing only consumes like 1 bucket of lubricant per hour, so it's not really that big of a deal. And look at this thing. So with the oxygen boost, it makes about 3 amps of EV power, which doing math is equivalent to 12 amps of HV power. And in the back here, it's charging all of these Lapitron crystals. Look, they're all completely full, 25 million EU each. Like that is a ton of power. This thing is awesome. And I think after we get our circuit assembler, the next thing we're gonna want to rush is the extreme combustion engine. It's like the next tier up. And this thing can produce way more power. We just need a metric butt ton of tungsten steel. So that'll be fun to get. Maybe we can put it right here. Also, let me know in the comments if you guys like the purple look of this thing. I think it looks pretty sick. Alright, so you guys know what's going on here. We're taking the ender air from the end, using an ender tank. That's a lot of using the word end. Freezing it into juice. Right now I have it disabled because it sucks so much power. In fact, let's turn it back on. This thing consumes 7,680 EU per tick to run. That's absolutely bananas. And it takes a full 200 buckets to start the recipe. Let's see how we're doing on power with the crystals. See, the crystals actually start draining when we run this setup. So I can't leave this thing running continuously until we get some more power gen. We might need more of these, or we could just rush the next tier up. I think this is what we're gonna do. This thing looks awesome. I want it. But you know what you guys didn't see in the time lapse? If you look at the top of the screen here, this is an IV input hatch. Insane voltage. Why? Because it takes 200 buckets to run this recipe. And if we look at the hatches up here, we usually use MV ones because these ones are the cheapest for us because we already have these holes automated. They only hold 32 buckets. High voltage 64. Extreme voltage 128. So in order to run the recipe, we need the insane voltage one. 256 liters of capacity. And this thing brought me down a rabbit hole I was not ready for. First of all, to get IV machine holes in the first place, you need tungsten steel, which we did make during the time lapse. We made a bit of a tungsten processing setup here. Look, there's another tungsten. I call that a W. All you have to do is put your scheelite dust into here that you mined from the end, and then tungsten will magically appear at the end, along with some calcium. I'm gonna have to go mining for a lot more tungsten ore, that's for sure. And as you can see here, we have all of our high voltage machines right here, and all of our extreme voltage machines over here. Fun fact, you only need 4 EV machines to make all this stuff. Oh, keep in mind for y'all playing at home, you also need an EV output hatch and an HV output hatch because it outputs a lot of nitrogen dioxide and deuterium. I guess I haven't talked about the other things that it makes, but a lot of this stuff like xenon, krypton, tritium, helium, deuterium, this is going to be used very soon. Not this episode though. Oh, the other thing that we needed for this input hatch, as if the tungsten steel wasn't enough, we need laminated glass, which is glass made through a weird process. Don't worry, I've already automated it over here. So first we have a reactor that's combining carbon monoxide, propene, and hydrogen to make butahydrine. Oh, I love these chemical names. And then we combine the butahydrine with polyvinyl acetate, which we're making in our MV line. And how are we getting the polyvinyl acetate? Through this recipe here, if you guys are curious. And then you get the vinyl acetate from acetic acid, ethylene. We're already making all this stuff from wood vinegar. I mean, just look at all this acetic acid. I mean, you could think of this chemistry kind of like baking a cake. In order to bake a cake, you need a lot of ingredients, and the ingredients we're getting from distilling all kinds of stuffs and things. And then in order to make the cake, you gotta put the ingredients together, and that's kind of like what all this is. None of this was too hard to do, and it makes this weird green plasticky stuff called polyvinyl butyl, which then gets turned into sheets, and then combined with tempered glass to make laminated glass. Why did I even bother automating this? Because we're going to need it a lot in the future when it comes to insane voltage machines. Basically, it's the insane voltage version of glass that's used in like the medium voltage recipes. Does that make sense? Every tier of voltage gets more and more complicated, so stuff like this is going to become the norm. Oh, I put an ender tank on top of our high octane gasoline. We'll get back to that. Oh, check this out. We've completely filled up this super tank of ammonia. That's impressive. Ammonia is used in lots of different chemical processes, so it's a good thing we have a lot of this stuff. Oh, not to mention, we already have 3,100 buckets of epoxy resin already. That's insane. That's why we set this all up early, so we can keep stockpiling this stuff. Look, we just got some more. 6,800 buckets of epichlorohydrin. Oh. All right, I need to stop getting distracted by all the resources. I mean, just look at all these resources. We got benzene, severely hydrocracked heavy fuel, like, oh. I could probably spend hours just walking around and watching machines work. There's something just mesmerizing about it. All right, let's check out the new stuffs and things that I built. We are now making polyethylene, PVC, and PTFE using large chemical reactors. The old way that we've been doing it is via this spaghetti over here. So that means we could pretty much get rid of almost all this spaghetti. Like, yeah, this is how we were making vinyl chloride before. We were combining ethylene and chloride. No longer needed. So yeah, it's gonna be nice to get rid of all this spaghetti over here. I'll do that off camera. But that's the power of these large chemical reactors. They could take processes that take many steps and turn it into one step. Now, the only downside about using the large chemical reactors is this does require a little bit of titanium tetrachloride. You know, that stuff that we're using to make titanium. It only takes 100 liters, but it boosts your output. Look, before we were only getting 1-to-1 ethylene to poly. Now we're doubling the amount of poly we get. Oh yeah, make sure you use oxygen in the recipe. That's how you get the most poly possible. Same thing with PVC. Very similar recipe. Same thing with PTFE. Very similar recipe. In fact, this large chemical reactor is able to make PTFE and PVC because they run on circuit 2. So that means you could actually use one large chemical reactor to do two different things, assuming you give it all the correct inputs. Vinyl chloride, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we're getting absolute ridiculous amounts of polyethylene, PVC, and PTFE now. You'll love to see it. Over here, I set up another oil cracker. Why is this one sideways when all the other ones are long ways? Because it went over a chunk border and I didn't notice, so I kind of had to like rotate it. Not the most ideal situation, but it's what we have to do. Now, what we're doing here is severely cracking naphtha. You can tell because we're inputting steam and naphtha in the back. Now, the reason I haven't set this up yet is because we need naphtha to make gasoline. It's like the main ingredient in the gasoline process. The thing is, we're completely backed up on gasoline. I mean, we got full super tank high octane, full super tank gasoline, full super tank raw. So since we're not consuming the high octane gasoline fast enough, we're actually backing up on naphtha like a lot. Oh yeah, you know how we got that staff of traveling like forever ago back in episode 1? You can craft these things called travel anchors, and if you're holding this, you could like look at it, right click it, look at the MV line one, boop, now we're over there. Makes getting around the base way easier because this base is starting to get huge. Look at it. Anyways, like I was saying, we're getting tons of extra naphtha. Look, we got 6 million buckets of naphtha over here, and we're also getting naphtha by distilling our light fuel. Yeah, look, even more naphtha. We got like 12 million buckets of naphtha total we need to steam crack. So it's getting steam cracked, it's getting put into the distillery, and we're getting tons of chemicals. We're getting more heavy fuel, which is getting sent to the heavy fuel guy. We're getting more light fuel, which is getting sent to the light fuel guy. We're getting toluene, which could be used for gasoline. We're getting butene, we're getting butadiene. I'll have to show you guys what we're doing with the butadiene here soon. Getting propane, ethylene, and methane. Whole bunch of useful stuff. And as for the butadiene, if we go over to our HV line over here, we are taking the butadiene, combining it with styrene and oxygen. We're getting styrene from benzene benzene, and ethylene. Remember, we're getting tons of benzene right over here. So benzene's not a problem. This process creates raw styrene butadiene rubber, which you then have to combine with sulfur. And then you make styrene butadiene rubber, my favorite chemical name. Styrene butadiene. And this stuff is basically rubber, but better. A lot of the higher tier cables, including platinum, requires styrene butadiene. So that's why I made a setup, because the way we were making rubber before was this setup over here. I mean, we do have a ton of rubber, I'll admit, but I believe that styrene butadiene is like 4 times more powerful, like it uses 4 times less. So that means this is essentially equivalent to 4.8 million rubber. You know what I mean. Oh, up here you can see where we're making that vinyl acetate, combining oxygen, acetic acid, ethylene, which then goes in here with the titanium tetra, blah, 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 to make polyvinyl acetate. That's all right here. And over here is where we're making the vinyl chloride. The ethane is being combined with chlorine. We're getting ethane from our oil distilling. This then makes the vinyl chloride and a bunch of hydrochloric acid, which we are electrolyzing in order to get the chlorine back, which is being sent in an ender tank, which then goes to our chlorine storage. Oh man, our chlorine is gonna glow again. Man, there's so many different things that require chlorine, so I'm trying to recycle the chlorine back in any way we can. I even made a setup over here that takes salt water, centrifuges it, and that turns into salt, which then gets electrolyzed to turn back into chlorine, which immediately gets consumed. And the salt water is coming from this magical saltwater ender tank. I wonder where the salt water's coming from. We're gonna have to take a trip to the overworld for that. And then we just have to use some staff of traveling spam to get over to the proper area. Oh, I see it. Check it out. So you remember that fluid drilling rig that we're using to get oil? I set up another one in the overworld. If we look at our prospector scanner here, you can see we're on a saltwater deposit. Oh my gosh, we've already mined over half of it. How the heck did we already buy that much salt water? But you remember that high octane gasoline ender tank that I had before? This is pulling our high octane gasoline straight from our system, burning it in a turbo combustion generator. It's being transformed down to MV, 2 MV hatches, which adds up to HV. Oh, you gotta love Gregtech electricity math. And then the salt water gets put into this tank, which gets shoved into this ender tank and then sent back to the void world. Listen, I'm willing to do anything for more chlorine. And it looks like we're gonna have to move this drilling rig soon, since we've already pumped out so much of the salt water. I didn't know we could pump out an entire ocean. Oh, I completely forgot to mention, but I cut this power cable. And that's a big deal, because that means our entire high voltage machine line is getting powered by our turbo combustion generator over here. Look, see, we're keeping up with power just fine. So our roundy combustion turbine boy is able to power all the EV stuff and all the HV stuff. So now our diamond generators, the only thing they're powering is the MV line. Nice. All right, that's enough recap. I think it's time for us to play with the radon that we have. First thing we have to do with it is make quantum eyes. You need an HV chemical bath with eyes of Ender. Joke's on you, game. I have an EV chemical bath. So we put in our 4 eyes of Ender, put in the radon bucket. We're doing it. It's consuming a lot of power, but we should be making quantum eyes. Oh, baby, we got them. I think one went in the electrolyzer, but we got them. Quest complete. And now we've unlocked it. The extreme voltage circuit assembler. Days and days of crafting and infrastructure building has led to this moment. This is why we need the quantum eye right here. That's literally it. We have the ability to make all this stuff except for the quantum eye, but we have it now. We actually have 4 of them. So it looks like we're gonna need 2 IV circuits and 1, 2, 3 EV circuits. Oh boy, can we make this guy yet? No, I gotta go craft some circuits, BRB. And hopefully this is the last time we have to make circuits this way. Probably not, but hopefully. Oh my gosh, when you open a fluid terminal now, look at all the different fluids we have. This is absolutely insane. Oh, we're out of chlorine. That's just great. Why is the chlorine always gone? Anyways, I just need some tin. Boop. Just gotta make 1 metric butt ton of circuits, no big deal. I mean, just look how expensive it is to make these IV circuits. 16 RAMs, 16 capacitors, 2 EV circuits, which requires 2 HV circuits. So it's 4 HV circuits for just one of these. This is absolutely bananas. So while these IV circuits are crafting, let's look at our progression tab here. This is what we're about to unlock. this column of circuit. So we're going to have better HV, EV, IV, and we're also going to unlock LUV circuits. So a lot of exciting things are about to happen because making circuits this way is just too dang expensive. Look at it. IV circuit. So let us make use of our first quantum eye and 2 EV circuits to make an EV emitter. Is there a quest for this? Nah, I don't think there's a quest. And by now, our other IV circuit should be ready. Yes, we have 2 of these things. That's so expensive. You know how I jokingly threw an EV circuit off the edge into the void? I would not do that with these. These are just too expensive. So here we go. Extreme voltage circuit assembler, capable of making the next tier of circuits. Let's go. We finally did it. Now, what do we do now that we have this thing? Well, let's look up the next tier of circuit. How do we make it? Oh, that's right. We're still gonna need all of this stuff like advanced circuit boards. Luckily, we already have the epoxy taken care of. I just gotta set up like a few more machines. It's gonna take electrum, sodium persulfate. We already have automated. So I just need to build a few more machines. Also, we need nano CPUs, which is made by like this stuff. We need an EV chemical reactor. I don't think we made that yet. So we still have a little bit of a ways to go, but we have the most expensive part, the EV circuit assembler. But that means we can finally get rid of all these signs. Cutting machine, done. Mixer, chemical bath, electrolyzer for tungsten, done. Energy hatch, done. Vacuum chiller, done. Distillation tower, radon for quantum eye, EV circuit assembler. Oh, I guess we still have to do the circuit automation part. And we got our first tier 5 circuit, and yeah, we did the plan. I can't believe it actually worked. So off camera, I'm going to finish setting up all this other stuff we need for the circuits. I'm probably going to make our clean room bigger because it's already getting a bit cramped in there. And I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. CWG, out.